Hello, Guardians, and welcome to Destiny Reset Episode 109. This podcast is about anything and everything related to Destiny the game. If you love playing Destiny as much as we do, you're in the right place. This reset, we welcome special guest sports psychologist Steve to the show as we build hype for the lead up to Destiny 2, discuss what we're playing in the break before launch day, and finally Steve gives us some tips on how to get ready for Destiny 2. Hello, Guardians, and welcome. It's AER0KNIGHT, and here with me, of course, is ScyborgSasquatch. How's it going, dude?
Hey, guys. It's me.
Hello.
I'm here.
Hi.
How are you?
You're here.
I'm here.
I'm great. How was your weekend?
Is it me you're looking for?
Always.
I was going to start doing an Adele bit, but I'll just leave it alone. How are you this Sunday evening, AER0KNIGHT?
I'm great, man. I'm fantastic. Coming off the weekend, nice and kind of chill weekend. My family is hitting that spurt of like we've all had some sort of sickness over the last few days. So, yeah. Looking forward to a healthy household in the next day or two.
Hey, but 2 episodes back in a row. Knock on wood.
Right? Streak. Right?
Oh, you got to be on 3 for a streak. Calm down.
Oh, dang.
Next week.
Dang.
Next week.
Yeah. The previous 100. We're past 100 now, right?
You were on a really, really long streak. You got to start a new 100 streak again.
How about you, man?
Doing fine. About the same for you. Kind of a low-key weekend. Getting stuff down around the house. Hanging out with the fam. Getting some R&R. You know how it goes.
Yep.
Getting ready for Destiny 2.
Yes. We're going to be, I was just thinking like did some chores this weekend, mowed the yard, stuff like that. Before we know it, it's going to be so close to Destiny 2, we've got to start coordinating all the way down to that stuff so that it doesn't mess with the launch.
Yep. Like I need to have a sit down talk with the family about how things are going to be come September 6th.
It's like, okay, I need to mow the yard. Yep. Okay, it'll be out on midnight.
Yep. Sure, everything's getting done. But we've got a special guest with us here today.
We do. A long time coming.
Yeah, absolutely. We've been trying to get him on the show for some time. We finally made it work. Welcome to the show. Celebrity guest, sports psychologist Steve. How are you, Steve?
Hey, guys. Doing good. Thank you for finally making an opening for me.
Oh, that was our pleasure, man. It's funny, we talk to people like sometimes it can seem like a year before we can finally like coordinate schedules. You know, you'll get together at some point and be like, oh, it's a bad time right now. Maybe later. 6 months later, you get together again. Hey, how's it going? Finally made it work, you know?
Here we are.
Yeah, I've been waiting for that call for a long time. When I finally got it, I was like, all right,
sitting by the phone, huh? Well, you may have heard Steve on Crucible Radio. Our buddies over there have Steve on the regular, and we've really enjoyed all the time and the excellent knowledge that you've dropped over there. We had to get you on
for sure
to talk with you a little bit ourselves. Now that we've got you to ourselves, got a few questions for you, Steve. You ready?
I think so. Yeah, go for it.
All right, man. So tell us just generally about yourself. What do you do? Where are you from? What's your background?
So originally from New York, Long Island. Currently I live out in Tennessee, a little bit north of Nashville. My job currently is as a sports psychology consultant for the U.S. Army. I've been doing that now for about 4 years. My graduate training is in sports psychology. I worked with athletes of all different levels for a few years prior to taking this particular job. So, just working on things like confidence and motivation, focus, just helping people perform at their best, regardless of what their performances are.
That's awesome.
Wow. Very cool.
Yeah, it's really interesting. So specifically for the U.S. Army, you're working with athletes, not soldiers, right? Well, I mean, they're all going to be soldiers, but
no, actually, like we work with the soldiers themselves. Like I've definitely worked with some athlete soldiers, like at the Wounded Warrior program and stuff like that. But yeah, primarily the work that I do is with the conventional units that are at the post that I work at. So infantry guys, artillery guys, pilots, everybody. Yep.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if you meant like if it was like the college level Army guys that play football, or if we were talking about like ground troops. So it's kind of a different dynamic than just working with athletes, because you're working with guys that have like really serious jobs to do, right?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, we definitely work with some guys because some people still have to, sign paperwork and things like that. But the majority of the guys, ground forces and, like I said, pilots and all kinds of different jobs. So it's applying the same concepts. Basically, they have a performance and they need to do it better, and the skills from performance psychology, sports psychology can help them be more resilient and be able to be mentally tough when they need it the most.
Very cool.
Man, it's interesting. Yeah, very cool. Very cool. You mentioned, I gotta ask, the like applying these skills and stuff to esports athletes and stuff like that. Is that something like you've done on your own, just out of interest in that, thinking that it'll apply, or?
Yeah, no, that really started like very recently. So about a year ago, I think it was, maybe 2 years ago. I'm not really sure how long ago it was, but that was when I first listened to the Crucible Radio guys. I started to listen to like their podcasts, and they were talking a lot about things, not using the same terminology as me per se, but a lot of things that can help people be better in like PvP. And I was like, they're talking about a lot of things that is basically sports psychology. So that's, when I reached out to them and got on a couple of their podcasts, and I realized that there's this field of people that are competing, and there's not a lot of people in my profession that are working with those particular athletes, and a lot of the same demands, like, being able to remain, focused over a long period of time, being able to train and practice in a deliberate fashion, being able to stay, confident in situations where you're up, against top performers and you're the underdog. Like, all that stuff in competitive esports is there. So that's just become like an interest of mine, and I'm trying to expand sort of the private practice besides what I do, with the Army athletes and soldiers to the esports field.
Wow, that's just neat. That's really fascinating, honestly.
I feel like you're kind of carving out new territory here.
Yeah.
With what you're doing.
It really is. Like, there's a lot of people that do sports psychology, a lot of people that are graduating from lots of different programs around, the world and the US. But there's not a lot of people that have, what I would consider an expertise, I guess, of sports psychology and video games. So there's, that really carves sort of a niche for me to be able to work with that population and be able to speak their language. So it's an exciting endeavor, and I'm just kind of in the groundworks of it right now.
That's neat, though. You'll have to keep us up to date. We'll have to have you on every now and then, dude.
Oh, absolutely. Like, and that's why,
speed.
Destiny 2 is so exciting, because, I'm hoping that it becomes a little bit more competitive, and maybe it becomes, one of those competitive esports that we hear about, like Counter-Strike and, League of Legends and, some of those other ones that are more popular right now on Twitch and have some big prize pools.
Some of the big ones, yeah. Well, with all that said, the classic question we ask, what got you into gaming in general?
Old enough to be playing quite a bit of the original Nintendo.
Okay.
When I grew up, I got that when I was a very young lad, and I played that for like ever. So I skipped Super Nintendo.
Be right around the same age as us.
Yeah, probably. Like, and I wish that I kept up with the console generations, but no Super Nintendo, no Nintendo 64. Like, I went from the jump from Nintendo to PlayStation, which you can imagine was a pretty large jump. And I was a PlayStation guy for a while until Halo came out. And my friends in college were playing Halo, and I needed an Xbox in order to have, like, the LAN set up with the dorms. So that's when I switched over to Xbox, and I haven't really gone back since then. I've gone with all the Xbox iterations, including what I'm playing on now with the Xbox One.
Nice. Yeah, that if you weren't already an Xbox person, the 360 reeled a lot of people in. That was a amazing console with an amazing interface.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really was.
No question.
And I just liked like the controller and stuff, and the way that the sticks were lined up. Like I did PlayStation 2, and then Xbox. It just felt better in my hands. So nothing against.
It's funny. There's like a big divide in gamers of players that love the way the Xbox controller is, and then there's players that love the way the PlayStation controller is. And it's like,
it's so funny, dude.
Completely different. And they're both like, I don't understand how you can play that way. And they both feel the same way.
Yep.
Yeah, I think the big thing.
We've talked about that so many times. Yep.
Yeah, I think the big thing for me with the Xbox is the triggers. Like, I don't like the buttons anymore. I played on a PlayStation controller like a couple months ago at my friend's place, and I was like, I don't like how it feels to have the the R1, R2, and all the buttons.
Right.
I love the trigger feel of the Xbox. So
yeah,
positioning of the joysticks.
Yes.
One thing I always mention is, see, because I'm a PS4 guy now, and I had 360 and PS3, but I think part of it I always have to mention is the PS3 controller was so old school and so rough to use that everybody that has a PS4 now is like, they just know that transition. So the PS4 controller is so great compared to the PS3 controller.
That's true.
But the Xbox, I mean, you cannot deny, like, you can tell they put some money into the research and development of the 360 and Xbox One controller. Cause when I hold an Xbox One controller, even after using the PS4 controller as much as I do, I'm just like, I don't even feel like I have a controller in my hand right now.
Yep.
It just feels so comfortable.
Well, and now I got the Elite controller. Like I did that upgrade about 6 months ago, and now I can't even go back to a regular Xbox controller. Like having the paddles in the back and just the weight.
That thing will spoil you.
Oh my goodness, they really did themselves. They did it right with the Elite.
Yep.
I need to get one. I still don't.
You got to get one, dude.
I still don't have one. I really should.
With all that stream income, you should be getting yourself a couple of.
Oh yeah, let me tell you, big money. Well, all this being said, how did you end up playing Destiny of all games?
Yeah, that's kind of interesting because I didn't really know much about Destiny. I was just, I was playing games on my 360, and I had a good friend of mine say, "Hey, I got this, beta code for this new game that's coming out. You should play it with." There was another friend of ours, and so the three of us started playing this game in the beta, and I was like, "This is like nothing I've ever played before." I like RPGs. I like first-person shooters. There's like some action elements and collecting, and like it just seemed like this nice blend of everything that I was looking for. And the PvP side of thing like wasn't even a big thing for me originally. I just liked the PvE side of it, and the beta ended, and I was like, I can't wait until this thing comes out. And I heard the Xbox One, you should get that in order to play it. So I went out and bought Xbox One just for Destiny. I had to hold myself over for like a month with like Call of Duty before Destiny came out. And then once it came out, man, that's like basically all I've played for the last few years. I've never played a game as much as I've played Destiny.
You're in the right place.
Yes,
absolutely.
Yes,
sounds like us.
It's funny how many people either came into Destiny because of the developer or with their friends. Like I came in kind of part of both. Like I'd played Halo games for years, and then my friends they actually saw Destiny first when it was like announced and things, and they were like, "Oh, you got to check this out." And I was like, "This looks perfect for us." And we were all excited together and came in together as a team to play it. But it's funny how different people end up getting into the game, but a lot of it is social based.
Yeah.
It doesn't even feel like we've been playing it for as long as we have.
I know.
Even though it really has been that long.
3 years, man.
3 years. Yeah. Crazy. Okay. You gotta answer favorite class, no pressure, and your favorite weapon.
Okay. So favorite class, like I'm one of those people that just tries to do everything. So I have all three like classes. I started though with a Titan. And that was mostly because the two other guys that I played with were like, I want to be the Hunter, I want to be the Warlock. So I was like, okay, well, I'll be the Titan. So we have one of each. But I eventually moved over to the Hunter because I like the jumps. that the Hunter can do, and like I just like the mobility of it. And then when Night Stalker came out, I thought that was just like really cool to be able to shoot the bow.
Night Stalker's cool, yeah.
I could use it in the PvE, the PvP, and so I've definitely got the most hours on Hunter, but I mean, when Destiny 2 comes out, I'll probably start with a Titan again.
Nice. Is that just because of the appeal of the subclasses, or?
Yeah, playing it in the beta, like I like to be like a support player a little bit, so I like the Sentinel. I like the ability to be able to pop the bubble, when we're playing PvE, doing a raid or a strike. But then in PvP, like the Striker was the mobility with the shoulder charge,
so
having
much
2
fun,
grenades,
dude.
Like the smash, and you can just keep smutty with the super. Like,
Yeah.
I think that one just had everything that I was looking for. So I was like, okay, I can associate myself with a Titan again.
We'll pretend that you're not, for right now, you're not going to start with a Titan in Destiny 2 because it's not out yet, and that way Cyborg and I brought a Hunter on 2 weeks in a row.
Right.
Yeah, that's fair. I
Gotta keep
definitely,
the people happy, man.
if you
Kudos
look me
for
up
that.
on whatever the website tracks your hours, I definitely have the most hours on Hunter. So I guess you can call me a Hunter.
That's
Great.
where it counts. Well, what about your weapon? What was your favorite weapon in Destiny 1?
I'm not skilled with any of the skilled weapons. I was always like pulse rifles always made sense to me. Like the hand cannons, I'm not good enough for that. Auto rifle, no. So I was always a pulse rifle guy. So the Blind Perdition, I love that gun. I love the outline that it gives
Such a
you when
good
you have the
gun.
Adept version. It just feels good.
Yeah.
Before that, Nerwins, Hawksaw, like those weapons were always my thing.
Yeah.
I don't have a special weapon. I just crutched on a shotgun, Matador, Party Crasher, that sort of thing.
Just playing the meta, man.
Yeah.
Playing the
And
game.
then just, Gallahorn, man. You had to have a Gallahorn in order to play the game. So I guess
Yeah.
that's a really lame favorite weapon, but that thing crushes.
Are you gonna get the
It's a go-to.
Are you gonna get the big McFarlane Gallahorn model that's coming out this fall?
Probably not. No.
Man,
I don't know what I would
I
do
want
with
one
that.
so bad.
It'd be really hard to explain that if it was in my apartment and I had anybody over.
Right. It'd be like, what is this?
Spend that kind of money on it, you got to hang it
Yeah,
up in your living room.
absolutely.
Yep. It's got to be the showpiece of the house,
And then
Right.
if they can't
Yep,
say
decorate
it,
the
however
whole
it's
rest
spelled,
of the
then they
house.
have to get out of the apartment.
There you go.
Bring in an interior designer and say, okay, I would like to design the rest of the house off of this piece,
Yeah, this
please.
is the centerpiece of my room.
I can see like the railing of your staircase having nice, nicely designed, Gallahorn designed top, and
There you go. Nice like
you
railing
can go
and
crazy. Yeah,
little corner pieces.
I mean, I wouldn't hate it.
carved out.
wolves
like-
anywhere possible.
You're kind of getting sold on it, aren't you?
Yeah, if Bungie's listening and they
Need a
want to, throw me a staircase that's made out of Gallahorn parts, go for it, man.
That sounds
There you
amazing.
go.
All right.
I think we're on.
Here's a very, very important community question that will decide the rest of your fate on the show. Does pineapple belong on pizza, Steve?
The question that many have asked and few can answer correctly. So I'm here to I'm going to settle it right now.
All right, good.
New York pizza, that's the way to go. So like regular, just
I can get behind
thin
that.
crust, just cheese on it. That's all you need, man. You don't need pineapples, you don't need toppings, you don't need anything like that. Just get yourself
There you
a
go.
good New York
Nice.
slice. Not even the whole pie, just one slice, and you're good to go.
And this is coming from a guy close to New York.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I grew up.
Okay.
Yeah,
You're
man.
authentic.
Yep. So if you're from
There you
Long
go,
Island, you know
everyone.
Little Vincent's. That's my spot right there.
Nice. All right. That answer will permit you to move on into the show.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know, man. The whole pineapple
won't
thing.
stop it
like,
here.
I just, it's not me. But all pizza's good, so you can't really go wrong with pizza.
You're
Every
kind of
time
getting
we ask this
wishy-washy. You
question,
should have
man.
stopped.
It doesn't matter. Right now it's 11:30 at night. Every time we ask this question, no matter what time it is, what night of the week, I want a slice of pizza.
Yeah, man. I
soon
got
as we
this
ask
this cheesy goodness kind of like percolating in my mind right now.
Major, dude.
Making me hungry. All right. You said New York pizza and my mouth started watering, you know.
I could walk you through like a nice imagery script, real vivid, where you can just like...
Don't do it. You're good at that.
Please
don't do that.
Please no.
We'll have to stop the show and give you a pizza.
Yeah, I can do it, man, if you want me to do it.
I know. Maybe after the show, I'll take you up on that.
Right.
Be my private fantasy. All right.
So anyway.
Do we have any announcements this week?
We do have an announcement. Guys, the Destiny 2 clan, Dirt Fam Destiny 2 clan, we got an update for you guys.
It's been a tough transition. We're making it through, though.
Yes. Last week we told you about the 10-chapter book that Cyborg posted in the Discord, and we posted on our Bungie.net group forum. We're well into the process of setting up our Dirt Fam Destiny 2 clans. As you're listening to this right now,
23rd's the day.
23rd's the day. Cyborg, we've allowed requests and welcomed new clan members and temporarily have closed the
at this point on the 22nd,
yes.
the day this releases, all the clan membership will be closed until after all the changes go live with Bungie.net and on the apps and etc. that are promised on the 23rd, which is Wednesday. So we're taking the 22nd today to make sure everything's finalized, convert those clans into Destiny 2 clans. If you were someone accepted into membership, but you weren't able to set your group membership to clan membership, because there's a difference. You basically apply to join the group, and then you set it as your clan tag, and that has to be approved. There's all this rigmarole. So if that didn't happen, when it converts to a Destiny 2 clan, you're going to get dropped. But don't worry. You can request to join again. When we open it back up, it'll probably be next week. We just got to make sure how everything works, see the new tools we have, make sure we just know the ins and outs, and then we will open it back up again before Destiny 2 launches, so we make sure we get everybody in that has requested to be into those groups before launch day.
Yes, don't worry, guys.
Just taking it a day at a time.
We're still the Dirt Fam. We're open arms and welcoming anyone. We're just making sure we do this transition as best we can for what's going to happen on the 23rd. So we'll keep you guys posted on the show, and if you're in the Discord, you'll see it all.
But so far, so good. Some awesome groups shaping up of the 6 clans that we have. I've seen everybody kind of band together and decide where they want to be, and there is some awesome conflagrations of players put together, and I'm jealous of every one of those clans. Wish I could be in all of them. But I think everybody is going to have a really fun time in Destiny 2, spending time with each other in this format. I'm super excited about something they mentioned in This Week at Bungie, that we're going to get clan chat in the app. So great stuff we're going to talk about here in the news. If y'all are ready for some news, you ready for some news, boys?
Yeah.
Transition into that.
How many guys are you actually going to have in your clan, or in all of your clans?
So we're starting out with 6, and I think Joe had pulled this number for us. I think it was like 750 people that actually had clan tags in Destiny 1 with us.
That's crazy. That's a lot of people.
And I think just based on who's active right now, we're going to have like between 200 and 300. But our expectation is, a lot of people are inactive and not even paying attention to any of this stuff right now. And as soon as launch comes, we'll have plenty of people probably come back. A lot of new people come in. So, we're really trying to make sure we get ready for all the growth as well.
Yeah, you guys are right.
Yeah, the good news is our main group, which now is well over 1,600, it's going to stay a group. So that'll be our hub for everybody to see what's happening, what kind of transitions we did.
Still
but
have
man,
a
I'm
home
super excited
on Bungie.net
awesome.
there for everybody.
I'm excited because like this clan system, while it seems complicated right now, it's gonna make the clans seem just more of like a camaraderie type thing within the Derp fam versus just a way to get the tags, you know?
Yeah.
It's going to be cool. Yeah.
We're making the absolute best out of the changes that are made, you know?
We're trying.
All right. Well, let's talk about some news. Let's talk about this week at Bungie. This was a big meaty one. Plenty of interesting stuff here. So we're going to plow through this here. Okay. Let's see. First off, they're headed to Gamescom. Gamescom I think starts sometime this week. I don't know what day. Monday of this week, maybe?
Yeah, it's
might have already started by the time this airs. What they are saying is they're going to be spending a lot of their time introducing everybody in Europe to a lot of the stuff that they've shown off at E3 and other places. But there will be some tidbits. They say, quote, "For the hardcore Guardian who has heard everything we've said about Destiny 2, we'll have some new details for you to chase like a glowing engram." So I think, as usual, we'll be pouring through every interview and etc. from Gamescom to see what comes out. So keep your ears peeled for that. Keep your eyes peeled, whatever it is.
Keep everything peeled.
Next up.
Yeah.
Keep
everything peeled. Eyes, ears.
Just keep all the things peeled, guys. Oranges.
Dude, I feel like we're gonna look back to the pre-launch of Destiny 2 and realize how masterful they've done this.
Oh, they are the king of the trickle
of
They slow burn, dude. It's just
If I only had a Pop-Tart right now and I was looking at the box, even with all their partners and everything.
Pop-Tarts are out, by the way, so I've heard. Darth pulled some off his shelves at his grocery store.
Did they figure out, like, is it each Pop-Tart? I know you guys were talking about this before. Is it like the box of
I think
Pop-Tarts?
You get a code from each box.
Wow.
Just the box, not even like the packet of two.
Yeah.
You need a lot of Pop-Tarts.
Expensive. $2 XP boost is basically what you're buying.
All right.
I eat Pop-Tarts, so it doesn't bother me. We eat them in my house. I was telling somebody,
we do too.
It's like when you get kids again, you get to eat kid food again because you have reasons to buy the stuff. So it's like all the stuff I ate when I was a kid, I get to eat again, even more so than my kids sometimes. Like I have Capri Suns and Pop-Tarts and like all this cool stuff. It's really for me, guys.
Except for when it's like 15 minutes before dinner and you think about getting a Pop-Tart out and you're like, oh, wait. Then me and the kids are going to want a Pop-Tart.
You get it out and they're like, what you eating? I want one.
Parenthood.
All right, focus, Cyborg. Okay, let's see. We got a Destiny 2 official PC open beta trailer. Oh, that was pretty cool.
Dude, I cannot wait. The PC beta. I can't wait to experience the game on PC.
I'm excited. You actually can pre-order. I looked into this myself because with all the money I'm spending on different versions of Destiny and different merch that's coming out, I was like, I don't want to spend another $60 for a game that comes out in October. So I went by GameStop and I could pre-order the PC version for like $5 or whatever, and they give you a code just like for the console version. So if you're not ready to drop the cash to actually pre-purchase this on battle.net, you can pre-order it.
I did.
So I'm curious, like, what are you guys hoping to get out of doing the PC beta again? Like, you already played the beta on the console, so what difference is it going to be?
For me, man, it's total like experience. I just want to experience the game with mouse and keyboard and see what it feels like.
Yeah, I'm pretty much the same. I just want to see how it feels. Like I played it for just a little bit at the DRE, realized how terrible I was at mouse and keyboard because I hadn't sat at one and
played a lot of PC
long
since
time.
Then.
Yeah, I've played a bunch of PC since then. I want to see if it's for me. I want to see how it runs on my machine. I think we're going to see a new map, a new PvP map.
Yeah. Javelin.
We're going to see some changes to the tuning of the sandbox that is going to be a lot more indicative of what we'll get on console at release. So I think mostly for those reasons, and also just because we need to cover it. That's what mostly motivates me to make sure I do this.
So do you guys think that the build that you're going to play on the PC is going to be pretty accurate to what we get at the console launch? Because like what we got at the console beta, they already said was an old build. So like I wonder if the PC build is also going to be an old build, and we're going to have a new build when the console launch happens.
I think they said either last week or the week before in the weekly update that the version we see on PC is going to be a lot closer to the final build. And a friend of ours that works for a developer explained as well that on console you have to go through certification. There's all these hoops you have to jump through to put out a beta on a console, so you have to do it so far ahead of time that there can be a lot happening in that development time. But on PC, there's a lot less barriers to entry. So what they can put out can be a way closer to the final build than what we got on console. So I'm hoping that we see some of those significant changes that they've promised after the console beta, and we can see a little bit more accurately how it's going to play.
One more layer of it for me too is, as I've mentioned many times, I'm a UI and interface nerd. I just totally geek out on that stuff. And I totally get why people love PC games, because just being able to use my mouse to hover over menus and equip weapons and all that stuff, like I can't wait to do that in the game that is my favorite game. Like to experience it with those peripherals and use the interface like that. I don't know. I'm already nerding out here, sorry, but that's a big part of it for me. I probably wouldn't even have to play the game. I just want to go in the menu and look around and click around and see what I think about it.
No, I hear you. I'm excited for not having to get kicked out of my menu every time, trying to just play the damn game. When we talk about UIs and menus.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm so happy to see that change. All right, so that's plenty to look forward to in October to play that game, and then the open beta coming up really soon. So exciting stuff. All right, next up, they mentioned PAX. They give some more details about what's going to be going down at the Destiny 2 experience, as it's called. If you have a badge for PAX West, you get to join Bungie at the Paramount Theater all weekend long. Some of the things they promised are there's going to be a store, there's going to be playable demos, there's going to be panels with the developers talking about behind the scenes game development, also some signings and some cosplay oriented stuff. So I'm honestly incredibly jealous of anybody that's going to make it to this. Yep. I was going to try to go, but when I realized the timing, it's the weekend of my son's birthday party, and I can't miss that. I wouldn't miss that for the world. It's like, nope, not going to be able to do that. Maybe next year. So I'll just be a sad panda.
You could always celebrate the birthday in Seattle, right?
I mean, I'd consider it. I was like, how many years for me to brainwash him into like thinking like, oh, we're going to make a cool trip for your birthday this year, son. We're going to go see, Bungie in Seattle. And he'll be like, oh my God, just need a couple years of indoctrination. And that'll be a thing.
But you've already started that process.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I think
AER0KNIGHT's
doing a better job. He was talking in our Discord chat about how his son related something to a ghost.
Dude, I'll mention this in Reset, but I started playing No Man's Sky, and those little computerish looking ghost things come up and scan your character. And my son was like, what is that? And I tried to like explain it, and the easiest way would have been to say it's like a ghost, but he did it for me. He's like, looks like a ghost. And I'm like, you mean, I pointed to our Mega Blocks? Because I knew he knew what they were, but to relate it to another game. And he's like, yeah, it looks like a ghost. And I'm like, I'm so proud right now.
Dude.
I'm so proud.
Such a moment right there. I'd have been the proudest father. Mine, I don't think his knowledge goes that far. He won't really sit and watch me play video games. He's got too short of an attention span. Like, he needs to be involved in it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So he doesn't watch me play, but he knows of it. And he'll be like, Dad, why is it that you like Destiny so much? And I'm like, I try to explain to him. It's like, that's a great question,
good bedtime
son,
story.
but you'll
That's the crazy thing too, is we spend more time, him and I, of course, like playing Mario Kart or something.
Yeah.
So it's like, he's played with the Mega Blocks a lot though.
Yeah, mine has
like he
too.
thinks they're really cool. Yeah.
He'll be like, Dad,
you
can
got
we
them all
play with
sitting
your
on
Destiny?
your shelf.
And he's talking about the Mega Blocks.
Exactly. Yep.
Kids, man. We're just burning for them to be like 6 years old so we can get them into this. All right. Next up, some awesome previews.
Dude, this is cool.
Of the update to the Destiny companion app. Definitely got some people excited about this. Kind of a new UI were promised.
Looks great.
And they list some features, including, staying up to date with news, events, activities, the creations, the Destiny community creations, et cetera, all those things that you can normally find on Bungie.net. The clan features look awesome. You can create or join a clan and invite others to join you, manage your clan roster, see who's playing, work on your banner. You can track clan progression and rewards, and communicate with your teammates through clan text chat. This is the big one right here, dude. Mm-hmm. If after being through, different clans, iterations, all the things with the DRP clans, the biggest thing that they have missed in their community is real-time chat. Without that, then people have to go other places like Discord and GroupMe and all the things that we've done. This is really significant in my opinion for new and existing clans. Just to be able to jump into a chat room and talk with people in real time and say, hey, I'm playing this, anybody around, or I'm planning to do this, or did you guys see this thing? And kind of, it's not like forum posts are great if you're on a browser, but on a mobile device, it's clunky. And so I think this is going to be great for clans being able to work together.
Yeah, no doubt. I can't wait. I'm hoping too, all this stuff they're doing on the back end, that when the day comes that their website starts to move a little faster.
Oh man, I sure hope so.
I'm secretly hoping for that.
I sure hope so.
Do you guys think that you would actually use like the companion app over Discord for that for those services?
Oh, I don't know.
Well, see,
we're so deeply embedded into
us,
Discord
I think,
now.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
What'll be ideal, and this is something that's come up as we've talked about the transition to our members being in their own individual clans as a community. A question that had come up is like, on our Discord server, is each clan going to have its own channel? And we've thrown around that idea a bit, and it could work, but we also don't want too much fragmentation. Like, we try to keep as few channels as we can in Discord, so that conversations aren't everywhere and kind of inactive, and that, you can always jump in and there's always a good amount of people talking, and there's stuff going on. People don't like posting something and it just sits there and nobody ever reads it, because if you have 30 channels, you have to have thousands of people for them to use all those channels,
Right.
So we also want people to always, even if you're in a specific clan, we want everybody that's in the Dirt fam to be able to communicate with everyone else in the group, and not just be isolated to, well, I only hang out and talk with the people in my clan, So we're looking at, we have LFG channels for each system, like Xbox One, PS4, PC. And we said, well, if we have clan channels, those will not get used as much, so they're going to be less effective. So I think that the ability to have the clan chat in the Bungie app will be great for the in-clan communication, like scheduling activities with each other, et cetera, et cetera.
Fill that void.
And then we'll have the Discord still for the overall group culture and social aspect. And then if you want to play with people outside the clan, you can still go to those LFG channels and find people that are still in the Derp fam to play with. So I think it'll be like a good combination of the two is what my hope is.
It's almost excellent they're adding it, because it really, I think that's right. It'll fill that little area of a void where we need the clans to be able to communicate with each other.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But in the end, like, we're just going to have to like see how it goes and, you know, call it as we see it. You know, there's just like too many things with this whole transition. We're just been like, you know what, we're just going to have to like take it as it comes. Like, we don't have enough information to make the right move at every point. And we just need to see, like, if something works, great. If it doesn't, people will tell us and they'll say, I need this, or could we have this? And then we'll just handle it. You know, everything doesn't have to be perfect out of the gate. That's how we're trying to think about it.
We roll with it.
That's what you're telling
This is what we're telling ourselves. It helps us sleep at night, you know.
Please, no questions on Destiny 2 release day, but what are we talking about? You'll be playing too, so you won't be sending us
call me
questions.
on September 6th. You can join my party if you want to talk about the game.
We'll still answer.
All right, and then all the stuff returning from the Destiny 1 companion app, you know, managing gear, LFG, looking at your profile, support, all that stuff will still be there. They do mention that Destiny 1 services, as far as gear management and stat tracking, will not function after the 23rd. I think at least in the companion app. The Destiny 1 API will still be active, and they mention, you know, look at the other community apps if you need that stuff, you know, gear management, etc. So a lot of this will be active, but they say the Destiny 2 services will not be online until after the launch of the game on September 6th. So I don't know if some of these things will work and some of them won't. We're just going to have to see what happens. But at least what we do know is that this is going to launch on August 23rd, and some stuff will stop working. We're just going to have to see what they've got planned.
We've got some interesting days ahead. Let's see what happens.
All right, next up, in Destiny player support, they've brought up Destiny 2 digital preload, which this is great. I'm super excited about this. Xbox One preloading will begin this week. They say early this week.
I had to joke about that in Discord, that Xbox got exclusivity.
We got that one exclusive, guys. All this means is that it got through cert on Xbox side before it did on PlayStation, which is almost always no surprise the case. There. PlayStation cert is notoriously more difficult to get through. PlayStation 4 preloading will become available on August 31st. So keep in mind that preloading is only available if you have purchased the product digitally through either the Xbox or PlayStation store. So if you have if you bought it through GameStop digitally, you're not going to be able to do this. If you bought it a hard copy, you're not going to be able to do this. Only if you buy it through those stores. So if you're really interested in that,
driving to GameStop the night before.
Yeah, you may want to look into how you purchased it. What I did personally, I had it pre-ordered through GameStop digitally for Xbox. I went and canceled it, and I went and pre-ordered it on my console so that I would be able to preload this and not have to worry about that.
When are you? Did you not worry about the actual like physical?
I'm getting a physical copy for PlayStation with the collector's edition.
That makes sense.
Which I just realized I'm gonna have to shell out $300 for next week. So I'm like, oh crap! I pre-ordered it, but I didn't have to pay for it yet. Now I'm gonna have to pay for it.
Yeah, I did the opposite. I did it on my main. I went ahead and stayed physical on my main and
Well,
digital
here's the thing, dude. I don't know if you remember back at the Taken King, the whole debacle with GameStop.
Yeah.
With my special edition from the Taken King. What happened was I pre-ordered it in the store. They created a online order in the store. I had to pay for overnight shipping, and then I couldn't change my address, so I had to get a UPS like interception and pick it up from the UPS like distribution center the morning the Taken King released. I mean, it was a freaking nightmare, and I was like, never again. I'm going digital. Yeah. Like,
so Harry, you're gonna show up to the store at like midnight and wait online and.
Well, they release it now at the same time zone across the states. So they actually release it at 9 p.m. the night before. So I can just do a little bit more casual drive to my GameStop. And
nice.
Instead of it being like 12:05 a.m.
Yeah. How are you getting it, Steve?
This is the first time I think I've ever done this, but I did the digital download on Xbox actually. So I don't have a hard copy or anything on the disc, which is going to be kind of weird, but
there you go.
It just made sense. Like, I want to play it as soon as it's available. I don't want to have to wait online or drive anywhere. Or, you know.
Yep. Well, you'll be able to do this preloading come this week. So,
it's all happening.
Let's see. What else did they mention? Final week to prepare your clan for Destiny 2. I think we've talked through all that, but there's some reiteration of that in the weekly update if you're curious. And then got our movies of the week. I watched some of these. There's some great movies of the week as always.
Dude, and ending. I thought it was going to be a Trials one, but it was just in the title. It's Destiny Trials. It's all the locations and stuff.
Yeah, that one was
great.
Cool.
Music
yeah, it was cool.
Overlaid. Yeah, it was cool.
I liked it. And that is all. So to wrap that up, this week at Bungie, Deej was headed to Cologne, Germany, I think it is. Isn't it in Germany? That's where Gamescom is, right?
Yes. Yep.
I'm sure I'm just not talking out of my butt here. All right, let's see.
Dude, okay, we can steamroll through the rest of this news, but this next one,
super wacky.
Did you guys see Deej's tweet this week about, and I quote, Destiny transactions on Steam were made available in error. All purchases will be refunded manually by Valve.
What?
Sorry for the confusion.
Mean?
Apparently some Destiny 2 microtransactions or something showed up in the Steam store.
How? I haven't looked to see if there's been any more
information. The only
explanation
explanation I've seen is that there's some kind of connection between the PlayStation store and Steam for stuff that's cross, released on those.
Yeah.
And that's something somebody had mentioned, and they don't know the technical details, but who the heck knows?
Dude, of course, instant speculation. Like, wait, is Destiny 1 re-releasing on Steam? Like, none of it makes sense.
Happen.
But right, yeah. It doesn't make any sense, especially not with this new partnership with Destiny 2 and Blizzard. But it just, like, his tweet alone, like, it almost is like he needed to type up a little paragraph, because that tweet in 140 characters or less is just
head scratcher.
What?
For sure.
What?
I don't know.
Yeah, but that was interesting.
Yeah, on the same note, there was a supposed leak in a Reddit post this week. I can't track down the original post. I read it when it was live. I forgot to save it. As usual, it gets buried. But the leak basically consisted of promising some kind of heralding event in Destiny 1, having to do with like the events leading up to the homecoming mission, like why are you wearing this certain armor, why, et cetera, et cetera. Deej responded on Twitter basically reiterating the fact that they promised the Age of Triumph stuff was the last, coup de grace on Destiny 1. That's all that they're going to be putting out. I think it's pretty obviously debunked it, and it's just a bunch of nonsense as usual.
Yeah, that seems like it would be a very strange thing for them to do.
Yep,
like,
I saw it.
Let's try to keep Destiny 1 alive. Like, no.
Nah, I don't think they're worried about that at this point.
Log back in one more time.
Yeah. But let's talk about some Destiny 2 merch real quick.
Dude, yeah, we got in here just to inform you guys. Apparently GameStop has some new Destiny 2 swag. What is that? Watches and
yeah.
wallets.
I went and stopped by a couple different GameStops. They didn't have the stuff out. And then I came back a few days later. They got it's its own little display stand. It's in a box. And they've got faction watches. They've got wallets. They have 2 different shirts. They've got the hats that people have seen. You could pre-order those. I believe there's, one for each subclass and then a Vanguard one. There were keychains. Trying to remember what else. There's a puzzle.
I think Burning Wing posted in our Discord too a picture of the was it that the McFarlane figure already?
The McFarlane figures are out at GameStop. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Mine's like pre-ordered on Amazon. I won't get it for another couple weeks.
Go into 2 different stores. I grabbed the GameStop special Warlock McFarlane figure. So I got that. And then I have 3 of the pop figures so far. I got a Zavala, a Zur, and an Atheon looking at me right now.
Know where I'm going at lunch
Go
tomorrow.
Check them out.
Yeah, and then we got I got an email this week, dude, of the Ghost Control Freaks.
So
these, dude,
check this out. They had these at one of my GameStops, and I've got them on my Xbox controller now.
Okay, you can answer it then. Like I use the same Control Freaks I've always used. I cannot use my controller without them. It doesn't matter what controller it is. How are these comfortable?
Okay, so wait,
hold on a second. Is Control Freaks one of your sponsors?
No.
Okay,
no.
Then good.
We're not about to get into this.
Because I looked at that picture and I was like, those don't look like they would be very helpful.
So,
dude, I don't get it.
They're definitely the low profile ones. Like, I think they're comparable to the CQC.
That's what I use.
Because they're not a super high stick height. And so if you put them on the controls, like up and down, meaning like the points are perpendicular to the direction of your controller, right? What happens is as you're playing it, they rotate so that your thumb is fitting into one of those concave areas. So they rotate like a little bit and then they're comfortable. Like what shocked me, I've never been able to get used to Control Freaks ever. I've tried 3 different sizes.
Yeah, we've talked about that.
I threw these on, and I didn't even notice that I was using them, but in a good way. Like, they gave me just enough height. They were comfortable enough. They didn't bother me at all. I was concerned about it, too. But they work fine. They're great.
I just get emails regularly from Control Freaks, and some of the designs, like promoting games, I'm like, okay, wait a second. Like, are you supposed to buy these and like display them on your shelf? Or are these actually like
that's what that looks like?
Researched and
they're
made
fine, man. Like,
for comfort.
My thumbs didn't slip off of them. They didn't get any fatigue. They're comfortable, and I think they look really cool. In case, because we didn't mention this, if you're listening, the design is of a ghost.
Yes, sorry.
Yeah, we're talking about it. We didn't give any.
Clearly a ghost. We're looking at a picture.
Yeah, we're looking
here.
at a picture.
Yeah,
it's
a ghost.
White, and it's of the ghost's profile, like face head on. They look really cool. Mm-hmm. The question is, like, how would that be comfortable? Because they're pointy.
They do. Luckily, cool. Cyborg has a pair.
Yeah. You can pick them up. They're like $18, I think, which is kind of expensive for Control Freaks. Obviously, they're paying a licensing fee to Bungie, but I like them. I like them a lot, so I would pick them up. I would recommend them.
Yeah, I use the convex ones, but they are the CQC height. But these I may end up owning, but they may be that angled display box on my Destiny shelf.
Steve, do you have any Control Freaks? Or are you a fan of those? Or
no, I like I said, the Elite gives me everything that I want. It gives you the options of changing the sticks. So you can, I mean, everything that you want comes in that $150 package.
Right.
So.
Even the case you put your Elite in is Elite.
Oh, I love it. It's like perfect for traveling and stuff because I bring my Xbox with me sometimes when I travel, and I pack it up nice and neat. I don't have to worry about that thing like at all. It's such a man. I love my Elite.
So shout out this week to our sponsor, Xbox.
Yeah, that was my next question to Steve. Wait, are you sponsored?
You have a code for us, Steve?
Xbox Elite?
Yeah, enter code SportsLikeSteve on Microsoft.
I wish that was true. That'd be great. But yeah, some cool swag at GameStop. Some of it's obviously a lot of this stuff is it's clearly catered towards a younger market.
Yes.
But it's still really cool stuff, and it's awesome to see all this at a GameStop and mass market stuff. You know, it's cool. I think it's cool.
Hey, if they make money off of that and all of a sudden it goes into more DLC for me, I'm all
That's
for
what
it,
I'm saying, man.
You can put Destiny on everything.
For sure.
Lunch boxes, whatever it is.
Without a doubt.
All right, last significant bit of news this week. There was a cover story on Edge magazine, which is I believe it's UK syndication, right?
It's a beautiful
Absolutely,
cover.
yeah. Almost every year, Edge does a big story on whatever Destiny, stuff is coming out, and they definitely did one this year. I bought it digitally, read through it. I've got some highlights for you guys, but I would encourage you, you can download the Edge app on your phone and you can buy this issue. It's a great write-up. They're fans of the game and it shows. And there's a lot of just interesting detail if you're interested in like how games are developed, how Bungie works. I'm a real big nerd about that stuff, so I always enjoy these articles. But the highlights...
This first bullet point, dude, I'm super pumped about.
Yeah, the highlights from this, first thing being they did announce Nightfalls are going to be timed, and they are going to be loadout locked, as we had
Love it.
thought might be the case.
You get to set with your fire team and decide what you guys are taking in and
form a
that's what you're gonna
strategy
have.
and go in with what you got. I think it's going to be fun.
That sounds great. Like that was one of the changes that they made. When they changed around the Nightfall and like you don't get kicked to orbit and stuff. It didn't have the same challenge level, I feel like. So
Right.
I hope that then they make the Nightfall is like a little bit more difficult.
I definitely think with the timer and with this loadout locking, like it's going to add a new level of challenge to it that I think will be really fun. And the timer they mentioned is going to be different for each strike because obviously everyone has different lengths.
I think one of the examples they said was, did they throw out like 13 minutes?
Yeah, for one of the strikes that they tried, yeah.
Yeah, which seems like not very long at all, but
it could be a shorter strike. Yeah. Hard to say.
Can't sit back and snipe it.
Right. Another change they mentioned is that grenades were tuned to do really significant damage to bosses when they were thrown in PvE, which is a really big change from Destiny 1. I mean, throwing a grenade at a boss, unless you were throwing like a series of sticky grenades, like was pretty much pointless.
Mm-hmm.
And that they said that was something that they really found significant, that your grenade recharge time might have been long, but the payoff was big. So I think that's a cool change. They talked about how the perception for the hunter class from the community so far has been kind of, poor, and people are worried that it's going to be an underpowered class. But they were shown something they couldn't talk about yet, but ultimately made them feel really great about where hunters are going to be. Speculation people are throwing out is that they may be bringing back Night Stalker. I don't know if I would agree with that, but something big for hunters that we haven't been shown yet. We'll see.
They better do something. That role, man, that's nothing compared to what the other two classes.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people are talking about. So we'll see what it is. My interest is piqued. If they felt that was significant enough to make them feel okay about it, then it had to be something big. So we'll find out. Another thing they mentioned,
a sweet cloak or something.
Yeah, it's a purple cloak. It's really cool. Gives you super flight. 80 missions and activities, over 80 missions and activities is the total count that they are aware of. That's a lot of PvE activities.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yep.
That's awesome.
That's like
I love it.
a couple, 2-3 days straight of playing just campaign stuff, dude.
So please don't release the raid on Friday.
Oh my gosh,
please.
seriously.
Please don't
Wait a
do
month.
it.
Wait a month.
Yeah, give us some time.
They also mention patrol and like adventures and all that stuff doesn't open up until the last third of the campaign.
Nice.
So you're playing a lot of missions before you can get into those other activities.
Didn't they mentioned, and this is where they, I think, talked about, they had like so much content that the progression, like you ran out of progression.
Yeah, so they
mentioned
fix. That like, so Luke Smith over a holiday weekend had a build and he sat and played the game for, I think they said 60 hours straight. Or over 60 hours over a long weekend, which if you think about it means he slept like 4 hours a night for 3 days.
I was going to say, what kind of weekend is he on?
He powered through it, and he found that, he said at hour 55 or something like that, he said that they found that there was a cliff where essentially what they meant was your progression had topped out before you got through all the activities. So they had more activities than progression, which sounds amazing. So they were able to come and, fix that, and they've retuned things so that doesn't happen. But how awesome is it that there's so much content that they ran out of progression? That, for me, as a player that really, really enjoys the PvE aspect of this game, like, it excites me so much for this game, dude.
Dude, I can't wait.
Yeah.
I almost am hoping they don't bring Trials in until the Osiris DLC, so that I'm getting so pumped about diving into PvE again. I don't even want to think about Trials for a little while.
Well, and hopefully that's the case that they can, I really hope that with the timing of things, you guys brought up the raid as well. Like, I really hope that they can pace things out in a way that allows us to play through it at a reasonable pace, progress through the content in a way that's realistic, so that when those bigger challenges come, like the raid, like trials, etc., like that we're ready for them, that we don't have to feel rushed to go jump to that, so we're not behind. Like, allow us to play the game.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
Please.
Hopefully they do like they did in Destiny 1. I think in Destiny 1, and I was like, a casual scrub at this point, so I don't remember the timing extremely well, but the Vault of Glass, I don't think came out for like 2 to 4 weeks after the game released, right?
I thought it was a month.
I want to say it was a month, but I'm not 100%.
I'm not certain either.
And that was just normal mode, right?
Yeah,
like that wasn't
that was just
mode?
normal.
Mm-hmm.
I would be okay with a 2 to 4 week period. Like,
I'm totally fine.
I think 2 weeks maybe. It's hard to know without knowing the progression and how much content we have. But if I could at least get 2 weeks of playing this game before a raid dropped, that would make me feel way better.
Mm-hmm.
They played through the entire story over 2 days, and they mentioned that the story is very coherent. They said you understand in the first hour the motivations of the enemies of, Gaul and his goals. Everything makes sense and was understandable and relatable very quickly. So it sounds like they're doing a much better job of telling a story.
See, that's difficult for me to like buy into right now, though, because I don't want to get my hype so high and then all of a sudden get disappointed, because the D1 vanilla was like so bad that like if I have my expectations low and it's just better than that, I feel like
you're gonna feel better, right?
When I don't know, man. When I read stuff like this, I'm like, wow, this could be really good. I hope that lives up to it.
I hope so too. It's definitely pumping me up, and I've got high hopes now, I think. So I hope they live up to that.
I think the last couple DLCs that they put out, they definitely did a better job of it. So if they just keep going in that, progression, I think they'll be fine.
Plus, among everything in this game, that is one thing that has always stayed right on the surface from the community, is like Give us story and cinematics through the whole time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
so.
true.
Yep.
Last couple little bits. They did talk a little bit about a specific exotics and how they're going to work. And their philosophical goal with things like exotic armor pieces are going to be that they boost certain abilities in significant ways. They give you a big reward if you play in a certain play style, but you're going to trade off a lot. So one they talked about was a warlock chest piece that allowed you to have the Angel of Light perk, and as long as you were killing enemies, you would get a super, super fast recharge time on your grenades. But it's only when you're like floating in the air, so you're kind of a floating target. So there's ways I think that they're going to play with abilities that can kind of usurp the long charge times that we're seeing. But you're going to have to trade something off big for it. So I think like we talked about, we've been like, let's wait to see what the armor does before we judge, how this game plays.
Yeah. I hope that they're able to make more armor like useful. I feel like there was just so much exotic armor that was out there that you just never used because it wasn't as good as something else. Like there was always just one good option.
One or two.
Yeah. I think if they can do things this way and have everything be super specialized to where, there's a really strong purpose or motivation for using a particular piece, but you have to play a certain way. I think that's the best way to do it. It feels super rewarding to play using that armor piece, and you can, instead of one thing being the strongest, it's like, well, how do you enjoy playing? Like, do you enjoy using this thing that lets you fly and get lots of grenades, or do you enjoy, another piece that lets you have this other perk, rather than it just being like, this is the dominant thing, you have to wear Twilight Garrison, right?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. All right, so I think that is all the major news this week, guys. We got through that as quick as we could.
With that said, I'll take my Garrison back.
Yeah, seriously.
That was the one thing you packed up before they blew up the tower, right?
That's what you were wearing as you were away.
I could take one. Yes, exactly. I was wearing it, and I had my NLB on my back.
Oh, no, please don't. Please don't.
Oh, man. All right. Well, Steve, we'll throw it to you since you are our guest. Let me ask you, sir, how was your reset?
Reset's been good. Like, my last day with trials was Monday, so I guess that still falls within the reset, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that was a nice little send off. I didn't even get close to the lighthouse and got frustrated with trials and was like, all right, it's probably time for this to end. So I was pretty happy to play it. Had some good times with trials, and I think it's good that they turned it off at this point, because man, even the guys that I played with, everybody was just like, oh man, this is just getting aggravating. So I played it. It was fun for a little bit, and I went back to my steady right now, which is Rocket League. And,
there you go.
Nice.
It's just, man, that game's so much fun to play with other people. Like, I'll play online and stuff, but when we play private matches with a couple of my friends and we're all on the same level, I'm like moving around on the couch and stuff while I'm playing and like gritting my teeth, and I just get so into it. So that's been holding me over for the last couple months. And once, D2 rolls out, I'll be back onto that grind. But for right now, I'm trying to play some other things.
Awesome, man.
Yep. It's time for that.
Yeah. What about you, Arrow?
Yeah.
I, like I mentioned this week, big thing. I did pre-purchase Destiny 2 on the Blizzard app, so I was pumped about that. But I've been diving into No Man's Sky. It kind of came out of nowhere. I was looking at my Twitter feed, and boom, there's Atlas Rising update, and I haven't really played it since any of the 3 updates have come out, and it's like the year anniversary that it was released, and I liked it. I mean, I just liked the idea of it way back, even when, people were giving it all kinds of criticisms and stuff, because it wasn't quite what they had sold it to be. And now it's getting really good feedback, and apparently, you know, kind of now is where pretty close, not fully, but where people wanted it to be. And I went and read all the patch notes of the 3 patches that have come out over the last year, and I watched the videos. They do really cool videos where they show you everything they're adding with their update, and I've just scratched the surface of it. I started a new save file and got a new home planet, and I'm trying to figure out the mechanics. Again, I love the interface and the UI of that game, and it's a beautiful game. There's a photo mode now, so I have a feeling until Destiny 2 comes out, I'm even going to set aside what I was going to play through, which was Uncharted 4, and I'm going to dive into No Man's Sky for a little bit.
So I saw that come across Twitter that they were putting out a big update for No Man's Sky. What were the significant things that they added?
Well, an update, I forget if it was the first or second, but they added base building.
Okay.
So that's cool in and of itself. You can actually share your base now, so people can check your base out. They still fully don't have multiplayer. From what I watched in the video, like it's little orbs. You can have up to 16 people on your planet or in your instance.
But they added some kind of multiplayer, right?
Multiplayer, yeah. It's like they said it's the first steps to the true multiplayer they want to put in the game, but it's like little orbs. You can see people going or like moving around. But man, they actually added like a little mini campaign with some missions.
Oh, nice.
There's a lot of stuff. Like I can't even think of it right now, but it got me pumped enough to jump back in. And I love the idea of starting on a planet, looking around at that planet, figuring out if it's worth sticking around, what you want to do, you know, getting your ship. Yeah, there's so many different ships in the game. There's exotic level stuff, you know, different tiered stuff. And then you finally leave the planet, you know, and it's endless, and you find all these different types of planets until you're like, you know what? I think I'm going to build my base on this planet. Yeah, I can just totally nerd out on it. It's not for everyone, but it's definitely
it's starting
a
to
game
sound
that's right
more
up my
like
alley.
a game I would want to play now. Because the premise was always really intriguing to me.
Yeah.
But I waited to see how the execution went. We all know how that went down. And now I'm more interested. Somebody made a great crack. I don't remember who it was on Twitter or Discord or somewhere. And they're like, oh, so No Man's Sky finally out of beta. Like,
yeah. Well, dude, and if you go to the subreddit, like the pictures people post, like I browsed it just for a minute today, and I'm like, oh, I want to find a planet like that. I want to build my base on a planet like that. And to me, it's a kind of game that even when Destiny 2 comes out, like you can just kind of go back to and just kind of spend some time in the world. You know, it's not a type of game where you either just play through it and finish it, or it's kind of like right in the middle for me. It's not like a Fallout 4 where you feel like you have to start over if you go back to it, you know, and it's a huge game. To me, you can just kind of hop in and you remember, okay, yeah, I built a base here and I'm going to just go explore the universe a little bit more.
Yeah.
You know?
That sounds fun.
I think I'm going to stick around with it.
Let me know how it
continues
to play. If I need to pick it up.
I'll do it.
Well, this week in my reset, what did I do? We had in the league that I've been playing, which is run by the Death RX clan, which one of the leaders is our Dirt Fan member, Fluffy Fingers MD. Been playing in that for, I don't know how many weeks, 4 or 5 weeks, something like that. We finally moved into like the championship, like matches, which would be like, single elimination, and you play up to 4 matches, I think. So we had our first matchup, totally got our butts kicked. I feel like half of it's my fault. I was talking about this before the show, so my internet is just completely screwed up right now. And the first 2 matches that we played, we go in, we start off with really good momentum. We're taking the lead, like got double their score. We're playing like supremacy and zone control for these 2 matches. We're just exactly where we want to be. And then I get weaseled, drop. And because of the way we're playing, we have to restart the matches. In both matches, we restarted and just got destroyed from there on. So I felt partly responsible for those losses.
That stinks.
Are you using the Farcog rules for that, or are you just kind of going?
It's like typical sweaty. Well, we're not using like quote unquote like the full sweaty rules. Like I think the only rules are like we're doing no heavy, and we can't have any of the same subclass across a 4v4 team. So we're not like excluding any exotics or any of those more extreme rules. It's a little bit more casual.
Okay.
Little closer to like typical Destiny vanilla quote unquote PvP play. But it was a lot of fun. Overall, like I played terribly across the whole league because I let myself get really, really rusty in PvP. But I did have a lot of fun. It gave me a new appreciation for 4v4 because I had not played a lot of that. And it did give me kind of a internal motivation moving forward, like into Destiny 2 to actually like practice and work on getting better in a way I haven't, because I think I did enjoy this and I want to do it again, but I want to do it again going in like a much better player. So while I lost and I got my butt kicked, like it gave me kind of a hunger for something new. So I think I'm going to try to stick with it and try again if I can get my teammates to let me come back. Cause I was definitely honestly, the bottom rung.
That's like one of the things that really bummed me out when I heard about Destiny 2 not coming out with the private matches. Like that's one of the things that I really enjoyed when they came out with that for Destiny 1, and getting together with friends or with a clan and doing like league matches or tournaments and things. So I hope that that's something that comes out pretty soon with the Destiny 2 release.
Yeah. From what I have heard them say in response to that, I think it's something that they want to get out very, very soon. I think the phrasing that they used was that if they can, they hope to have it out before the first DLC. So, I'm hoping like October, November, by then we would have private matches again. Cause they mentioned that they're working on like custom matches, which is really exciting because then you can get into some, things where you can like specifically set up your rule types. Like you talked about the Farcog rules. Whatever the rules might develop to be in Destiny 2, if you're not going to allow certain weapons or armor pieces or all these things, hopefully in custom matches, you can set those rules as part of the match as opposed to just an honor system. So that could be a really cool development, I think, for the community.
Wow, the Christmas list is getting bigger now. We got custom matches, theater mode, forge mode. Think of all these great things that they can add as we get closer to the holidays.
I know. But besides that, my reset, I mean, I've been playing some of my hunter, trying to knock out nodes on my my book. We did the bells achievement that I needed to get done. That was fun. Nice, man. Got some help from some of my friends getting that done, and got some other people that achievement. And then I've been playing some other games, like played Transistor a good bit this week, which is a PC game. Wasn't sure what to think about it at first, but it's kind of cool. It's kind of a combination between like turn-based and an action, like top-down. I won't say dungeon crawler because you're not really crawling for loot, but long and short, basically as you go through the game, you get these different abilities, and you could either use the ability, like, let's say the ability is shooting something. You can either use that as one of your 4 primary abilities, or you can combine it with another ability that will somehow change it. So let's say maybe one ability is an explosion. If you combine the shooting with an explosion, now you can shoot explosions, like in a very simple way. Yeah. So it gives you like all these permutations of the different ways you can combine stuff and lets you just do it how you want. And it makes it for an engaging game. Besides that, it's just oozing with atmosphere, like the music, the art style, everything.
Dude, I have the soundtrack saved on my Spotify.
Yeah. Holden Court was telling me the same thing. Yeah. He's like, I have this in lossless and it's amazing. And the soundtrack is great.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
It's from the Bastion. That game's from the Bastion team, right? Supergiant Games, I think.
Yep.
Yeah. Because I think they just came out with a new game that.
I think it's called
a buddy of mine.
Pyre.
Is it Pyre? Yep. Yeah. I've seen that pop up on Twitter feed quite a bit lately.
That's their newest one. So Transistor, though, pretty cool.
Yeah.
It was recommended to me from somebody, and I'm glad I picked it up on Steam sale, I think, and been fun. Been a lot of fun.
Very cool.
That does sound
good. So that's been my reset. Just playing.
We have this brief moment to play other games.
I finished. I did the last missions of Shadow of Mordor. I needed to finish off, so that's under my belt now. And now I've got to finish like Deus Ex. I'm on the last. What is it called? Like not chapter, act of the Gears of War 4 campaign. I've been playing it with Darth, so we're almost done with that. Knocking them out, man.
Very cool.
All right, so Steve brought something extra special for us today to talk about, I think you said, how to prepare for Destiny 2, and I am intrigued. So how should we prepare for Destiny 2, Steve?
Couple of different things that I was thinking about, from my domain. The first one was probably just taking a break from, gaming, Destiny. That's going to be something that you are going to spend quite a bit of time on, when Destiny 2 comes out. But I think people have probably already started that break. And so I kind of actually wanted to talk about what you can do now getting back into Destiny as you prepare for D2.
Awesome. Yeah, I think, I'm still playing Destiny a little bit, but the majority of my friends list, you're not going to catch in Destiny right now.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to turning that back on and seeing, 1 or 2 pages worth of friends on there. But right now, that's
like during the beta. Yeah, dude, we were playing Sweats the other night, and the only people on my friends list were playing Sweats. It wasn't even just the 2-5. It was just the people playing Sweats is who was playing Destiny on my friends list. It's like, okay, there's a lot of people online. They're all playing something else right now.
Yeah, Destiny 1 doesn't have a lot to offer. We've probably all played everything that it has to offer at this point, but there are definitely some things that you can start doing now to get yourselves ready to go. So, first thing that I was thinking about was putting together a raid team. So like a good raid team, is hard to find, right? Like there's a lot of things that you need in order to be a good raid team, and there are things, assuming that the raid is still a 6-person raid, think about like who you would want to spend that time with, especially if you're trying to do like a blind raid. So certain like subclasses that people are already thinking about that they're going to main, once D2 starts, you're going to definitely want to have a good balance of, DPS support. But beyond that, I think it's important to find people that you just get along with in general. People that have patience, aren't going to like call you out on, dying too much, and mostly can communicate.
Yeah. I think communication is a big part of it.
So one of the things that you can do in Destiny 1 to like start building that bond and understanding the communication of the people that you're playing with and stuff, you can do some of the raids. Obviously, you've probably done, the raids plenty of times before, but instead of just thinking about like completion of the raid, setting some specific goals for it, like limiting the amount of deaths of the entire fire team, maybe like a time to clear, so just like being as efficient as possible, or really challenging yourself to using primaries only, or primaries and secondaries but no heavy, just like different things that you can do to make it more difficult for yourselves and challenge your ability again to like communicate and be able to enjoy that time that you spend with the other 5 people that you're playing with.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, I've thought about that some, and it's hard to find a fine line between people you can enjoy to play with, and then also people who can execute on things, communicate well. Kind of just depends, I think, on how you like to play, but I find, especially going into a raid for the first time, you've got to have people on your side that, if you want to be successful, if you want to clear it, that you can work well as a team and communicate well, and everybody's focused and there's so much that goes into that tough activity.
Yeah, have you guys done a blind raid at all, like from Destiny 1? Did you guys go through that at all?
Yeah, I have not. Cyborg has.
Yeah, I've done a couple now.
So
it's fun, but it's tough.
It's honestly, like, for me, that was one of like the defining experiences of Destiny 1. Like, I played a lot of PvP and stuff, but doing a blind raid with a group of people that are really committed to, like, look, we're not going to look online for anything, but we're going to be patient with each other. Like, we're going to find out the mechanics. We're not going to get frustrated. We'll take a break when we need to. Finding 5 other people that fill that same philosophy as you do is really challenging. So starting to think about those people now would be helpful.
Yeah, I've found, so I did my first blind raid for King's Fall, and you know, I had to get everybody on team. I was like, guys, I really want to do this. Like, do you want to do it with me? And everybody kind of bought into the challenge and committed to not looking at anything, because we couldn't do it the day it released. I think we did it like the next day. And so it was really hard to avoid spoilers and avoid knowing what the strategies were, but we all committed. And I've talked about on the show so much. It was one of the most amazing experiences I've ever had in a video game, and definitely of Destiny. And I'm a really big proponent of doing that for people that play Destiny, because so many people haven't. And I tell people every time a raid comes out now, I'm like, just think about doing a blind raid. Like, really, really consider it, because it is something that you can only get one time in Destiny for that activity, and it can be a really awesome experience. But like you're saying, you've got to have people that are committed to it with you.
It actually, now that we're sitting here talking about it, it always turns into a timing issue for me, you know, because like we talk about, the raid comes out so quick, and it's like, man, I need time. Like, we don't have a ton of gaming time, you know, so it's like, all right, I'm just gonna watch it. It's gonna take me several weeks to be able to even get to that point, you know. But if we get what we're hoping for right here, we're gonna get maybe 3-4 weeks before the raid comes out, so plenty of time to experience the content. So I don't know, I may have to finally try to do this.
You need to, man.
Too many people have said how amazing it is.
Yeah, it really is. It's just like something that's very different, but having the wrong people with you can absolutely ruin the experience. And especially if somebody's going to like drop out halfway through, and then you got to try to fill that spot with somebody who's willing to continue to do a blind raid but has only made it halfway through. It can be really challenging.
Yeah, we had we had that. Even when we did King's Fall, we ended up not having a sixth person, and we literally just found a random person. I think it might have even been on LFG or on like Reddit, and they were like, yeah, I really wanted to do it blind. I haven't seen anything like, you know, I'll do it. We found like this like Aussie guy or something, and he did it with us, but he had to leave. So we did it over 2 nights, and he had to leave, you know, after the first night, and couldn't make it back the second. So then we had to find somebody else who had made it as far as we did, like, was still blind on everything. Like, it was tough to still, you know, do what we were trying to do. So you got to have people that are committed for sure.
Yeah. So if you could avoid that as much as possible, you can, again, start thinking about who those people are that you want to spend that extended period of time with. And like I said, like in Destiny 1 right now, set some goals, play through some raids, and see what it's like to play with those people. And, you know, does everybody get along, and can you guys communicate effectively so that you're all still enjoying the experience?
Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. I'd love if you could like talk on the show before the raid, like right before the next raid. If you could give some tips on like de-escalating situations, because you know what
like
happens,
hostage negotiator.
Yeah, like what'll happen in raids, any activity that's like high stakes, and it's less often to happen like at the beginning, more often like later on when people have run the raid a bit. But you'll have these situations where people get impatient with each other, and you're trying to solve a problem. And when people lose their patience in a raid, things devolve really fast. So I'd love for you to like talk about that before the first raid, to give people tips on, conflict management, or like, leadership skills or something, or what's the best way to like, kind of cool yourself down if you're getting, frustrated with a situation or something,
Yeah, man, give me that call.
I will.
I'll definitely come back. I think that
back.
a lot of that stuff we could definitely get into more detail about with leadership, and who's going to sort of call the shots, and you got to have some creative thinkers, especially.
Yeah.
The guys that you play PvP with, then they don't always translate well to being doing the raids and doing the PvE stuff, especially the blind raids. So you got to think about that a little bit more fully.
Yeah. Well, that's definitely the PvE segment. Is there some things that you could tell us to get ready for the PvP that we're about to get into?
Yeah, I mean, the mechanics are going to be a little bit different, obviously, playing the beta from Destiny 1 to Destiny 2, but there's definitely some things that you can start doing in Destiny 1 to get ready for the PvP side of things. I think, just like thinking about who the ideal other 5 fire team members would be for the PvE side, think about who those other 3 people are going to be in your fire team going into PvP, right? Because 4v4 is going to play differently. So I think first just identifying who those people are, and then start playing with them, even if it's in like, the 6-person, 6-fire team playlists. Like, you can focus more on the process of what you 4 do within that, and less focus on like, hey, we won, a control match or clash or supremacy. Like, shoot, move, communicate is going to be so imperative with being successful in Destiny 2. I mean, playing through the beta, you realize how important team shots are, how important just knowing where your teammates are going to be, clear call outs. That's going to be really important in Destiny 2, and you can practice those things in Destiny 1 even without having like the weapons and the game mechanics of 2 primaries and that sort of thing.
And so people don't miss this. You just threw out a really important term: shoot, move, communicate. Break that down, what that means.
Yeah, so obviously shooting is the main thing that you need to do to be successful in Destiny, lining up headshots as opposed to body shots. But the movement on the map is going to be so critical, and I think what we saw just in the 2 maps that we had in the beta was that they really designed the PvP maps to be played effectively with those 4-man fire teams. So understanding how to move with your teammates, and who's going to kind of lead from the front, who's going to identify where the flanks are, who's going to cover down on several lanes, like that's going to be just as important as being able to line up your headshots and team shoot. And then the communicate part is being able to clearly, without excessive chatter of like, oh man, I can't believe I died again, like, look, this person is around the A flag, they're using a pulse rifle, and there's 2 other teammates that they have around there, so it's probably not best for you guys to go in there by yourself. Like, if you can provide clear information, again, that's going to be just as important as being able to just line up headshots and have good shooting.
Yeah, I have noticed, and people are picking this up, that PvP play in Destiny 2 is a lot more focused around team play than kind of the lone wolf scenario. Like, you can still make big plays, but it's way more important that you function as a unit and as a team, I think, in Destiny 2 to be successful.
Yeah, it's hard to make the big plays without picking up power ammo. Otherwise, it's so team focused.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I think a lot of people are, from the feedback that I had with the friends that I played and, listening to the different podcasts, like, people are enjoying that quite a bit. So I think, one thing to focus on while you're playing, in that 4-man fire team, and not necessarily focus on winning and losing, but if you can focus on that KDA instead of just the kills and deaths, I think that's really important too. If you can, because if you're getting the assists along with the kills, that means that you're doing a good job of that shoot, move, communicate that we just talked about.
Yeah, the thing I've realized in the beta is, at first it was kind of jarring to realize the difference between Destiny 1 and Destiny 2 PvP, initially, and at least with the beta. And then it was like, once you got your fire team moving and communicating together like you're talking about here, you realized how fun it was, because it promoted so much more team play and communication and collaboration. I mean, all the stuff you're talking about, and you, without even acknowledging it, you realize that as a fire team, you're like, we're working really well together right now.
Yeah, and that's the kind of stuff, like I'm saying, like for Destiny 1, as we're only a few weeks away, you can start identifying who is going to be on that 4-man fire team with you and focus on those things. Who cares about wins and losses at this point, and with Destiny 1. So focusing on those small process-oriented goals can get you much more prepared for when Destiny 2 launches, and you can start, stomping in those different playlists.
Well, do you have any other tips for us? Any habits that we could form, or anything else we should focus on before for September 6th?
Yeah, I'd say, if you're playing by yourself right now and you haven't identified, maybe the 6-man team for the PvE or the 4-man team for PvP, there's some things that you can do on your own, especially if you are one of those people that are getting frustrated with the game and you easily go on tilt. Identifying a good refocus strategy for, when you die a few times in a row or you've lost a few games in a row, you can start building that habit now. They say it takes about 30 days to really build a habit that works well for you, but now is a great time to start. Don't wait until Destiny 2 releases in September, and you'll start to see some of that benefit so that it becomes more of a habit when Destiny 2 releases.
So what are some ways that, and you mentioned tilt and then refocusing when you get tilted, what are some ways that you can do that? Like, what are some habits or behaviors that can help you refocus when you're tilted?
Yeah, so it really varies based on the person, but there's different things that you can try. So some of them could be like behavioral. So, one of the suggestions could be like spinning the joysticks, counterclockwise 3 seconds. Or that could be like a really effective way to kind of refocus, get yourself back in the game. Or if you really struggle with like the things that you say in your mind, what we call self-talk, maybe you come up with sort of a statement that you can say in the moment to refocus yourself, get away from that pissed off emotion that you were experiencing with the tilt, and be able to, perform at your best.
Yeah, I think like one thing, and it's not something I've done consciously, but when I stop and I like identify either I'm tilting or maybe the whole team is tilted and we're just like all kind of everywhere, and I've found that just like, even to help myself, I'll say, oh, like we're letting them get in our heads, like everybody take a second, like respawn, let's group up, like take a beat, back off for a second. And that's helped me even on my own, or to work with teammates, to like help everybody get their center, catch a breath for a second, and then kind of go forward as a unit. But I think it'd be a good idea to like identify a certain, way that I could kind of trigger that, that collective breath, for myself when I'm, find myself kind of running against the wall, so to speak,
Yeah, and tilt's like, it's just so common. Like we emotionally invest ourselves in these games, especially with the amount of play time that like a lot of the hardcore Destiny players have.
Yeah.
So it's understandable like why we get frustrated, but just establishing that routine to be able to distance yourself from the frustration, the anger that you have about a bad beat, a bad death, a bad loss, and then be able to get right back into the game again. Like if you start that now, that's going to transfer very easily to Destiny 2.
And without realizing it, you're learning life lessons by implementing these things Steve's saying just by playing Destiny.
Yeah, totally. I mean, this is obviously stuff that I use, whether it's working with athletes, whether it's working with soldiers. I mean, everybody can benefit from like a reset or refocusing strategy,
Anything in your daily life. Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Nice, man. Well, we appreciate the tips. It's always great to hear what you have to say about how we can be better people or, be better at the game that we play. I think, a lot of the ways or a lot of the methods that we talk about in playing Destiny and, how to work better with a team or, just how to be a better player, they're very often applicable in your daily life. So I think it's you provide a lot of value in giving people those tools.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've gotten some really cool feedback just listening to people reaching out to me on Twitter and things, listening to when I go on Crucible Radio and I give some things to help you be better at Destiny. People are like, yeah, I mean, it helped me a little bit with Destiny, but it also helped me with my actual life. And I was like, oh, man, that's really cool to hear. So I always appreciate hearing that.
Fascinating stuff, man.
That is great.
Really good.
All right. Well, thanks for all those tips, man. Hopefully everybody listening can take some of this stuff to heart, maybe use it to help them get ready to have a more enjoyable launch of Destiny 2. I certainly will.
Yes.
All right, so we've got some Derp Fam discourse. What do we got this week, AER0KNIGHT?
We have an email. We sit on this for a week or so. Like we said, we try to get them on as soon as we can, but this is like a big thank you shout out to the Derp Fam.
Nice. You want to take it or you want me to read it?
I will gladly read it.
Please do, sir.
Jeremy, a.k.a. Bone Star. Subject is thank you to the Derp Fam. He says, to Derp and the Derp Fam. A few weeks ago, I reached out to you guys regarding Bungie limiting the number of Age of Triumph t-shirts that can be ordered to only one per code. And that, I was hoping to get one t-shirt to wear and one to put on the wall in my game room. That is kind of a problem I didn't really think about before he messaged us a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
But anyways, after my email was read on the podcast, the response that I got was overwhelming and humbling at the same time. I received message after message from people offering their discount code. I never expected that so many members of the Derp Fam Destiny community were that thoughtful and generous to offer up the code that we all had to grind many hours to get. I got the discount code and my t-shirt arrived just the other day. I really can't thank those individuals enough for offering up their code to a fellow Guardian. Thank you so much to all those who offered to help me out. Bone Star, Human Hunter, Exo Titan, Awoken Warlock.
Well, man, I'm super happy that he got taken care of in such quick order. And we ended up, how many of these did we end up giving away from the community? We had a ton of people give our codes, and we were able to ping everybody in Discord and hand them out to people that wanted to get a shirt but didn't have the code. And so it was great for everybody to kind of help each other out and be gracious.
It's like every time we got one, it was like, oh guys, here's one. You're almost out of time. And then we got another message.
We just kept going I got one until we ran out.
Yeah.
But yeah,
that's amazing.
Bone Star, we're so really glad we were able to help you with that, and this community stepped up. So that's just another example of how great Derp Fam is.
Derp Fam.
Yeah.
All right.
Exactly.
Do we have any patron shout-outs this week?
We have a patron shout-out. This patron has been a patron for a few weeks now, but after telling you guys to check your Patreon messages,
got his
he
gamer
did so. Shout out to Saved Guy. Thank you so much for the support. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, man. So if you want to become a patron, you can go to patreon.com/DestinyReset, and that allows you, if you wish, to be a financial supporter of the show and the community for as little as $1 a month. And we're working on, raising a budget that will basically help us produce the show every month, that go to things like hosting fees and just all the little stuff that adds up. And we're also trying to improve, the production that we have. So thank you to all the patrons that have committed to helping support the show with $1 or $5 or $10 or however much it is.
Means a lot to us.
Yeah, the support you guys have provided has been amazing. It means a lot to us. And has helped, save some money out of me and AER0KNIGHT's pocket that that we've been paying for years, so it's pretty awesome. So you can go to patreon.com/Destiny Reset if you'd like to check that out. If you become a patron, you get a couple benefits. You get a shout out on the show. We'll place your gamer tag on our website in a special place at destinyresetpodcast.com, right, Arrow?
Yes.
And then we're working on a special Twitter banner that we'll be providing to you guys. We've got that in the works with the graphic designer. And then finally, we have a periodic show about once every quarter that's not related to Destiny. We're going to try to put one out before September 6th, if we can get it done. And we're just, talking about just life, nerd culture, games, movies, books, you name it, stuff that we're into. Keep it fun and interesting. So you'll get access to that before anybody else if you're a patron. And then finally, Era, I'm glad you wanted to mention this. If you just want to give a one-time donation, you can do that too. There's a PayPal button on our website that you can click as well if you don't want to do anything through Patreon.
Yeah, we understand a monthly obligation.
Yeah, not everybody wants
it's a pretty
to do
big
that.
thing. Yeah,
but you may just want to say, hey, let me just throw y'all $5 or something, and that's awesome too.
You can do that.
Yep. All right. But finally, if you want to give a shout out, or you've got a thank you to somebody in the community, or you want to throw a question to us, you can do that as part of Derp Fam Discourse. And you can send us emails to destinyresetpodcast@gmail.com, or you can leave a voice message at speakpipe.com/destinyreset.
Do it. No speak pipes this week.
No new speak pipes.
We'll
That's
have
okay.
some soon. We'll have some soon.
Yes,
we like
will.
emails too.
Yep. All right, man. I think that's it.
I think so, we didn't hit our goal on time again this week, but you know what? As long as people keep listening and it's enjoyable, we'll just talk for hours.
Just keep talking.
Hopefully they think so.
Steve, thanks so much for joining us, man. I'm really happy that we finally got you on the show.
Yeah, I am very happy that I was able to do this also. I know we've been talking about it for a while, and this was a pleasure getting to know you guys a little bit more and getting a chance to speak to the Derp Fam.
Absolutely.
Well, you're always welcome.
Well, you had a lot of big fans of the Derp Fam, and they're going to be excited to hear this episode, and you're welcome back anytime. So if you ever got anything you think you want to talk about, or you just want to hang out, you let us know, man.
I definitely will.
All right. Where can people find you on the web if they want to talk with you?
Yeah, so I'm not like a big time streamer or anything like that. So best way to get in touch with me right now is Twitter. I'm working on securing some better branding, but right now it's Psych NYLI. Because like I said, I'm from Long Island.
Nice.
But hopefully I can secure that Twitter name that I've coveted for a while now. Psych Steve. But yeah. So that's the best place. I'm pretty active on Twitter.
Yeah.
I love having conversations with people, especially if you listen to the podcast. You got any follow-up questions or anything like that? That's probably the best place to hit me. I'm hoping to launch my website pretty soon.
Nice, man.
And when that happens, I'll let you guys know for sure. There'll be some cool stuff on there.
Awesome. Yeah, be sure to let us know, and we'll
shoot that out.
We'll let everybody know on the show and social media and stuff.
Everybody lay on your digital couch and tweet Psych Steve.
Yeah, buddy.
Yes, please.
All right, AER0KNIGHT, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at the AER0KNIGHT and on Twitch and YouTube, AER0KNIGHT. What about you, man?
Awesome. You can find me at CyborgSasquatch on Twitter and Twitch, twitch.tv/CyborgSasquatch. I'm streaming Tuesday, Wednesday, and Saturday evenings, usually between starting somewhere around 9:30, 10 p.m. Central. If you ever want to come hang out, come drop by the channel and give me a follow.
It's a good time.
All right. Finally, you can find us at Destiny Reset on Twitter, or on the World Wide Web at www.destinyresetpodcast.com. That's your source for all things DRP, including links to subscribe to us on your favorite podcast app of choice. We're everywhere, so there's no excuse why you can't subscribe and get the show automatically downloaded. So it's there every Tuesday morning, just ready for you.
Yes. I wanted to mention, too, I don't think we mentioned in announcements, but as you're listening to this, we've officially probably changed the main Destiny Reset Bungie.net group to a group.
Yes.
And
still exists.
Probably deleted the OG subclans, so your tags will be a little random right now.
They'll disappear.
Yes, they'll disappear.
Do not fear.
So anyways,
new tags
I made a little note because I don't think we said that little tidbit.
Yeah, good point.
Anyways, iTunes reviews.
We got some?
Speaking of iTunes. Yes, we do. We got several, dude.
Oh, nice, dude.
We're up to I think 124 now. People are so generous. We got to give a shout out to Enforcer 12389.
Okay.
Lanky T 313. I think this is maybe Icky 01. Ike.
Okay.
And Hoopachu
rolls off the tongue. Thank you guys for the iTunes reviews. Yeah. That's a lot. I appreciate it. I need to go catch up and read them all now.
They're great.
I'm a week
Don't forget
behind.
to read the subject line too.
I know. Those are always
so
funny.
Great.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for iTunes reviews. If you haven't left us one and you do listen to us on iTunes, please do leave your honest opinion. We really do appreciate all the 5-star reviews that you've left, but sometimes we get some great feedback in there too. So however you feel about the show, go leave us a review, and it helps us get in front of more listeners.
Still to this day, in the reviews, it's unbelievable how much the Dirt Fam is mentioned inside of our iTunes reviews. It's fantastic.
No doubt.
Guys, keep being awesome to each other. Okay. Steve, thank you again.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it. Sorry we kept you up late on this Sunday night, Monday morning.
That's all right. I was just telling the Cyborg, Game of Thrones got me so hyped. This is probably a good 3 hours. Now I can finally go to sleep. So.
There you go. Very nice. Well, we will be sure to have you on sooner than this last time it's taken us to have you on.
What is it, 109 episodes?
109 episodes. Yes.
Yeah.
I don't think we
see
can
you
beat
in 218. Let's go.
I don't think we can beat that. Oh, man. All right, guys. Until next week, have fun playing Destiny and take care, Guardians.